Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I'm Kelly with Collage-Lab, and this is a live Collage-Lab play date. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy that you are here. If you're watching live, go ahead and tell me where you're at in the comments. I'm going to try a new feature, see if this works. Oh, little tiny comments down in the corner. Do you see those? Hi, Chris from North Carolina. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Candace. Hi, Natalie in Chicago. Good to see you all today. Thank you so much for being here. This is a live play date. I'm going to just give people a couple minutes to join us and find the live stream. I'm assuming that you can hear me okay. If you can't, let me know in the comments. If you're watching on the replay, let us know where you're watching from. Hi, Joe in the UK. Hi, Julie in Wales, UK. Kathy's not far from Buffalo, New York. Melissa's here from Boston, MA. Good to see you. Chantal from Montreal. Oh, we've got a nice group here today. Wonderful, wonderful. I am so happy you are here. Hot Spots and Chocolate says hello, everyone. Hello to you too. The YouTube names that we choose are kind of strange sometimes. Lisa, good to see you, Lisa McKenna. Happy you could join us today. All right, let's get started here. Let me find my slides. You know, tech. Okay, this is a live play date. And if you stick around till the end, I am going to do a random giveaway. Actually, you don't even have to stick around to the end, but it would be lovely if you do. If you're watching live and you registered for the play date, I have put your name in a fun little roulette wheel, and we will choose a winner at the end. So do stick around. Hi, Mary from Tucson. Hi, Emma from Toronto. Good to see you. Good to see you all. I'm Kelly. I am the founder of Collage-Lab. I'm a mixed media artist in Rockport, Texas, right on the Gulf Coast, north of Corpus Christi. And it's a little warm here today. It's Texas. What do you expect, right? So I'm happy to be here with you today. We've got a really fun project. If you are new to Collage-Lab, let me know in the comments if you're brand new, if this is the first play date or class or anything you've participated in. Just write new in the comments. I'd love to welcome you. I started Collage-Lab 5 years ago at the beginning of the lockdowns for the pandemic, and started with, well, today we're kind of going back there. My first free class I released was called G is for Grids. And today's play date, we are going to play with a grid. If you've been around a while, you know what I'm talking about, but no worries. This is a fun, simple little mixed media collage project. Lisa from Honolulu, hello. Natalie is new. Chris is new. Leah from Central Vermont, welcome, welcome, welcome all the new people. It's so good to see you here, and I hope that we see you around Collage-Lab more often. I'm trying to get myself back on schedule and trying to do the monthly play date every month. So get on the email list so you know when the next one is happening. This is an example of what we might be creating today. Everybody's going to make something a little bit different. And so this is, oh, if you're new to me, there is a link in the description. You can get a free download of 100 collage ideas. And yes, that's that. Okay, so I am here in my lab coat, and it is hot, so I do have a fan around my neck because fans blowing all the papers around while I'm collaging doesn't work so well. But keeping Kelly cool is probably a very good idea. So we are going to get started, and let me go ahead and get the camera on. So simple start to a collage. And if you don't know where to start with a composition, I think a grid is an amazing place to start. If you've been around for a while and done Treasure Trovember with me, the very first prompt for the last 5 years has been start with a grid. So I'm going to explain what that means. I'm going to show you what supplies I'm using. Whatever you have is absolutely fine. I'm going to work on 180-pound watercolor paper. No, 140 pound. My brain is not doing numbers today, but that's okay. So I've got an 8-inch by 8-inch piece of watercolor paper, just some kind of sturdy substrate. If you want to do your collage in a sketchbook, that's fine, whatever you've got around. So my paper is 8 inches by 8 inches. And so I decided in advance that my grid is going to be 2.5-inch squares. So I cut out a little scrap of watercolor paper that is 2.5 by 2.5, just to use as a little template. So without doing a lot of math, I know that I can fit 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 7.5 across, and 7.5 down. So that's going to be a total of 9 grid squares. Whatever works out for you, whatever size paper you're working on, and the squares don't even have to be perfect or even or anything like that. I'm going to go with a simple background for my grid because I want to add a lot of other stuff to it. So I'm just going to use some book pages, some sheet music, just some random, pretty, plain pages from some old books. I love that old book pages are, different colors based on how old they are. And so that's going to give me a little bit of variation. So I need 9 squares. And so I'm going to take 3 pieces of this math book, I guess, and I'm going to cut out with my little template 3 of these squares. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be straight, just kind of, just kind of guess at it if you want. That's okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3 of those. Set that aside. Ah, another math book. Okay, we've got some geometry or something like that. And I'm going to cut 3 squares out of this one. I find a template is a lot easier than me trying to guess at cutting things that are about the same size. Now, we don't need perfection for sure, but this is helpful. So I've got 3 pieces out of the geometry book. We'll set that aside. And then I've got some sheet music. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Got extra. And I'm going to cut maybe right in the corner. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm just going to cut 3 squares out of the sheet music. Most of the supplies you see me using today, you can find in my Amazon storefront. There is a link down below in the description of this video. So I have my 9 squares, and I'm just going to I'm going to play around with them. I'm going to arrange them and see how I want them to be put together. Arrange and rearrange. And I'm just kind of generally placing those. I don't want all the music facing the same direction. So maybe I'll do that. Something like that. So I'm going to just take my glue stick and I'm going to go ahead and glue those down. If you saw my most recent video, you know what the coffee filters are for. That is my favorite little gluing surface. Today's glue stick is GLOO glue. I kind of like it. It's square. The thing's round, but it's square, and it's blue, disappearing. So I'm just going to glue down all of my grid squares. And you can have your squares butt right up against each other. You can have a little bit of space between them, or you can have them overlap, however they fit. I think I've got room for a little bit of space between them, not a lot. This is one of those, even if you don't know what you're going to make, you can always start with a background. So even if you have no idea, cut out some squares and glue down a grid. You'll think of what you're going to do by the time you get it all glued down. And the reason I chose book pages is I don't really want the background to be the star of the show. I'm going to know it's there and it's got some interest because there are these line drawings and things like that on the book pages, but it's not going to command a bunch of attention, and it's not going to distract from what else is going on. So I've got a little bit of space between each of these. And like I said, entirely up to you how you want to arrange your grid. It is a background. It's the stage that we're going to build our collage on today. All right, that's the easy part. Then we get to the fun part, and I just picked out a few papers, mainly painted papers that I had sitting around. I tried to keep cool colors, kind of keep them so that I know they're going to go together. You can absolutely do this with images, with magazine pages, anything that you like. I'm going to do this kind of abstract, and I'm just going to start by maybe cutting out some shapes. So I've got my favorite circle punch here, and I think I'm going to start with some circles. And I think I'm going to actually take those circles and cut them in half. So we'll end up with some half circles. And then I'm just going to start, throwing them on the grid. Things can go, inside a grid square, or they can go overlapping more than one. They can be at angles. They can be, however you'd like. So that's just starting point. Not gluing anything down yet. We'll get there in a few minutes. So this one's much darker, and I'm always thinking about my lights and darks, and so I do want some contrast here. So I'm just trimming off the black edges here, and I'm just going to cut some angular kinds of shapes. I'm going to keep them kind of small because my grids are only 2.5 inches. And that's probably enough of those. And now I'd like something a little bright. This is on wet strength tissue paper. This is on the black band. Ooh, maybe this. This is on rice paper. So you see some flowers in there, but you may not see flowers after I'm done. After I'm done cutting, I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to pull out my pinking shears and give these a zigzag edge, whatever shapes these. And maybe just one zigzag edge. Cut a straight edge. So that's a different kind of shape. I don't want to get too crazy with shapes, but I do want some variety. And I like the repetition of all the half circles, my little zigzag shapes. I'll do a little bit more of the zigzag with this lighter blue edge. Long pieces, short pieces. Okay, and I just kind of laid those down as I was cutting them. Now I'm going to play a little bit with how I arrange them. Overlapping. Some vertical, some at angles. And the fun thing about working abstractly like this is, even before I glue this down, I can look at it in different orientations, right? What I would also probably do, and I'm not going to do it today because my phone is acting as my camera, but before I glue this down, I might take a photo on my phone and look at it, remove the color, desaturate the color, and look at where my lights and my darks are. But for right now, I think I kind of like this. I'm just going to start gluing some things down. I will likely change my mind as I glue. That happens a lot. And so I'm just going to start placing these. And keep in mind, this is not the full collage. We're going to get in here and do some fun mark making to kind of pull it all together. We've got these fun shapes and colors that offer us some repetition, give us something going on here that can hold interest. You can already see that as I pick something up and go to glue it down, I'm changing my mind as I do it. Dark. I'll go with a lighter one here next to the dark. And as I place things, I'm trying to look at what's around it. So this one's at an angle, so I'm going to keep that one down vertically. Mix it up a little. And even though I've got 9 grid squares, that doesn't mean I have to have 9 of each shape or anything like that. So what else needs to be glued? Go. Switch those bits, I think. This guy I'm going to glue right on that other piece. I'm going to glue that down. Little tail here. Snip off. There we go. And a couple more half circles. See if I got everything. Oops, didn't glue that one down. All right. Now the real fun begins, y'all. So, yeah. And, flip it around. See if you see a story. That's kind of the joy of working abstractly, is you may decide that there's a story happening here. I'm not quite sure what that story is, but I'm going to set my papers aside and come in here with some marks. And what am I going to do first? I think I'm going to put down a little pop of color. And I think if this works, some old stamp pad, it may not May not have much juice left in it. Yeah, okay. So it's like a honeycomb stamp pad. And so I'm going to apply that in a few places, give it a little pop of pink. Okay, that's pretty subtle. Let's see. Maybe we would get a little more dramatic. I'm going to come in with a black pen. It's got a brush tip, and I'm just going to start adding some lines. Some of them kind of echo the lines that are on the paper behind. Okay, and more color. This is a Sharpie in a nice pink. I'm going to add some dots. I'm going to go ahead and put some on these dark pieces and on the grid. You don't want to do something like that just like once or twice. You want to do it at least 3 times. That's going to make it look like it was a choice and not a mistake. So I've got my pink dots. Let's see. I think I do want to add some more, maybe some scribbles. With this kind of a teal color. This is a Woody's 3-in-1 Woody Stabilo. It's water soluble, so I'm just going to use it in its natural state. Just get some scribbles going throughout the piece. Not too much, something like that. And, we stop and look and we make decisions sometimes based on what we can grab or what strikes us, what's closest to us. I'm going to add a little bit of paint. I like this color palette. So I think I'm going to go with this cobalt turquoise, golden fluid acrylics. And let me see, how do I want to put that down? Got little round sponges, little bouncy kind of sponges. I think that might be fun. Add some shapes that are not in paper. Some are random, some are grouped together, kind of like that. Yeah, that helps. Okay, what else? Maybe don't want to get too gloppy. Just another pencil. This is a yellow. I don't know. Don't know if that's gonna. It doesn't really show up. No. Different color. This is a charcoal pencil. A little bit yellow. No, that's not going to show up at all. Maybe it's time for some markers. Oh, add some white. This is a correction fluid pen, Presto Jumbo correction pen. And I like to always just test it out before I put it right on the collage. So I'm going to just do some zigzags. And again, as you're making marks, you can flip it around because you're going to find yourself, gravitating towards making similar marks. So if you move your canvas, you may make some more interesting marks. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Does it need something else? Take a look and let me know in the comments if you think I should add anything more to this or if you think it might be done. I like the ability to ask somebody. I don't usually get that in the studio, but what do you think? Does this need something else? Any ideas? I'm not seeing any comments, y'all. Take a look and tell me if you think it needs just a little bit more, or if it's at that point where we can say, if you do some more, you might ruin it. Leah says, how about 9 little birds? I don't have any little birds, Leah, but I could go in there and I could draw something that might look like a little bird. Let me grab a marker. All right, got a marker. I'm going to add 9 little birds. It's a Tombow. And I think I'm going to use the brush end. Yeah. And 9 little birds. These are going to be like just seagulls flying away. So they're just going to be random little bees, basically. 2 around, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they look like birds. 7, 8 little birds, 9 little birds. Okay, 9 little birds. I do want to do something. Ooh, maybe. I should have put a bird over that yellow spot. I don't like that. That was a mistake. Maybe I will glue another circle over it. That's the joy of collage. Yes. I will glue another half circle over my yellow mistake. And it will be as if it were there all along. And then I'm going to get a little crazy. I've got dioxazine purple golden high flow acrylics. So these are, they're pretty watered down, but they're very pigmented. And so they are almost like using ink. It's very watery. And I think, let me see. I'm going to decisions. You know what? Let me clean this off. I used my silicone basting brush in a recent video. I'm going to water that down just a little bit more. And use this purple to try to do a little controlled spat. Oh yeah, that's controlled. There we go. That's what it needed. Okay. I think before I go too far, I'm going to consider this done. Get my purple paint out of the way. And I'm going to check in with you guys and see how you're doing. See, more suggestions here. Black dots, fiery orange, little doodads to balance out the blue. What do you think at this point, now that I've spattered purple all over everything? might be a bit too much at this point. Fiery orange. That's not a color I use very much, Lisa. I'm gonna let it set. I'm gonna let the ink dry, or the fluid acrylics dry before I mess with it anymore. But do you guys play along? Did you create some fabulous grids? Does anyone have any questions? Let me come over here. Oops, wrong one. Yes and no from Chris. Yes, more, no more. Lisa says it's my nail polish screaming. I'm doing it. It's hard. Natalie says love grids. Me too. Let me see if we can get that bigger. Yes, so fun. Something like this to just play for a little bit. And, as an abstract collage, I really kind of like how this has turned out. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I hope you enjoyed playing with the grids. Kathy's got a grid going with some circles, magazine pages. Awesome. Let me remember what I'm doing next here. Okay. Let me go back and get back on the slideshow here. Maybe I need to move that and then go there. So many little things. So yes, grab the free download. That was the last slide. And comment-wise, let me just go full screen and look at the rest of your comments. Lisa says, I feel like I want to add a focal point. Well, you know, and that's the thing. You absolutely can add a focal point. And using that grid background it's kind of a little cheat because you are also kind of setting yourself up for rule of thirds. So you've got your vertical lines and your horizontal lines, and wherever those lines cross is a great place for a focal point in a composition. So if you want to add a focal point to that, I don't think I'm going to add anything because I think mine got a little too busy. Mary says, very cool. Fun with abstract. Don't do it much. Oh, Mary, stick around. We're going to be getting you all abstracted. Joe says, love just playing. Lisa is doing the index card day challenge. So making a wacky grid. Awesome. Awesome. Corinna, late but playing along. Love it. Well, thank you for joining us. And I'm so happy that you're all here. This is awesome. And again, if you're watching on the replay, feel free to comment, ask questions. I will jump in here and answer all your comments and all of that. Absolutely. A few things. Let me do the prize winner first, okay? So this is the technical difficulty part of the show. We're not even there yet, but I'm guessing that I may have issues. I'm going to try. Everybody that registered, I put your name on a wheel of names, random name picker. And so I'm going to share that right now. And we are going to let the wheel pick our winner. And then I'll tell you what you won. Okay. So everybody that registered, your names are here. And the winner is Naomi. Naomi, congratulations. Let me stop sharing. Congratulations, Naomi. Email me your mailing address and what you have won, dear. When this is dry, you have won today's collage. And I will throw that in the mail to you next week. So that is for registering. And what else? Oh, just tell you a couple of things coming up at Collage-Lab. Several of you are in our membership, so there's always something going on, absolutely. But we've got some other fun stuff coming up. I am going to do in July another collage coaching week. And has anybody done collage coaching week with me before? I'm going live for 7 days and pretty much sharing everything you ever needed to know about collage. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I go live for 7 days. I talk about and show you all the different adhesives, different cutting tools. We talk about found papers and found images. We create our own painted papers. We pull out the gel plate one day and make papers. We do mark making, and we're going to do, this year, we're going to do a repeat of a workshop I did a couple months ago called 6 in 60. So in Collage Coaching Week, I think it's on day 5, we're going to create 6 collages in 60 minutes and learn a whole lot about different composition styles. So Collage Coaching Week, 7 days with me live, and it will be $10. And I believe, I won't say the date for sure because I haven't confirmed everything, but it will be in July. And there's a link in the description to get on the wait list. If you get on the wait list, you will be the first person to know about Collage Coaching Week, and you can jump in and register. Waitlist, there's no obligation to register, but you just become the first person to know about it. Yeah, Lisa says 6 and 60 is great. Thank you. Gonna go buy glue now. Melissa says, thanks, Kelly. Collage Coaching Week is amazing. It is so much fun, you guys. It really is. If you've ever had anybody ask you what you could talk about for a full hour and, you know, like give a TED talk on any topic without notes, for me, of course, that would be collage. And the very first time I did Collage Coaching Week, went live 7 days in a row. I think it ended up being 11 and a half hours of me talking about collage. So, you know, and the bonus is it's all recorded, so you can watch me on 2 times normal speed. So you don't have to spend 11 and a half hours. But it's going to be a big deal. It's coming in July. Get on the wait list. Yeah, so this is today's play date. I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you so, so much for playing along. If you want to post what you created today over on Instagram or Facebook, tag Collage-Lab. On Instagram, it's at My Collage-Lab. And I'd love to see what you made. I can't wait to see what you made, actually. And that's all I've got for today. I am so thrilled that you joined me, and make sure you get on the mailing list. There's a link down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you enjoyed it. Give us a thumbs up, and join me again next month for another live play date. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of Collage-Lab.